Welcome to the Womenomics Podcast. Think of this time as soul care with your hosts, Tiara and Corinne.
Hey.
Okay, y'all. This is episode 6.
Mm-hmm. We
Is
halfway
that
through.
crazy?
This is halfway through season 3. Halfway.
Is that crazy?
It
Like,
is kind of crazy. The way you said it in pause, I realized that means we halfway through.
yes, exactly.
I literally didn't even think about it until you said that. Wow. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So, in honor of our halfway mark, we always talk about, kind of like how we started, how we met. But I don't know that we've really kind of got into really how we started, how we met. And that in terms of why do we both end up in Sophia's mentorship program?
Yeah. So I'll start first. So Tiara and I met because we were both in this notary mentorship program with a very prominent notary we found on the internet who is amazing. Her name is Sophia Martin. And we both joined her program just for our own mentorship for our notary businesses. And so for me, I joined the mentorship because I felt like I wanted to go harder on like working with title companies where I can make more money as a notary, and just ramping up my general notary services for my business. And Sophia is just an amazing mentor, and she has so much knowledge, and she's so down to earth, and she's a beautiful brown woman like us. And I'm like, I need to be part of her mentorship. She's worth the investment, and there's so much more I could learn. And so I joined, and I quickly learned that there was a couple other people, I'll just say one that stood out to me, that seemed to be very, very competent in her business, very confident, and knew a lot, and her name is Tiara. And the first day that I joined the mentorship, the first time I got on Zoom, and it was this woman teaching. It was Tiara, and she was doing like a presentation on loan, like how she does her loan signings. I think it was I think she was going through like the loan signing documents, and I was like, this is a complete scam. Where's Sophia? Like, who is this girl talking about documents? I came for Sophia. And so as I listened to her, I was like, okay, she's smart or whatever. So let me just listen to what she's saying. So she was going through the documents, and I concluded that she's either part owner of this mentorship program, or she's just very, very competent, and she's one of the mentees, and she's sharing what she knew. And then I quickly learned that she was one of the mentees in the mentorship program. And she was not afraid to speak publicly. She was not afraid to present. And then long story short, I got tapped to present, to lead in the group. And so I discovered that Sophia would leverage members of the group of the mentorship program who had a good grasp of the notary work, and she wanted to encourage them to share their knowledge and collaborate. And so Tiara and I both were those that were tapped to be more involved in the mentorship program. And so we got to know each other, got to talking. We fell in love. We fell in love and just became
True.
very, very, very good friends. And we started to send audio messages to each other on Instagram. And one day Tiara said, I think we friends now. Let's exchange numbers. And we started texting and sending audio messages over text because it's just easier. We have so much to talk about. But we always talked about pretty much the Womenomics podcast, even though we weren't doing a podcast.
Yeah.
All the topics is what we talked about naturally as women, as business owners. And Tiara, of course, I wasn't the one. She presented the idea. She was like, we should do a podcast together. And I said, okay, so this is something you didn't know about me. I don't do that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff terrifies me. It's scary. I don't do public speaking. I'm not like you. I don't want to do it. And she said, that is why you have to do it. We talk so much about fears and all that kind of stuff. So you have to do it, Corinne. And Tiara, I felt like you were manipulating me in that moment, but I really did. But I couldn't argue with you because you were absolutely right. Like, why do I need to run from something I'm afraid of when it is so valuable for us to talk about? If we spent so much time discussing it amongst ourselves, why not share it with the world, with other people who could benefit? It almost felt like a social responsibility. And so I took the chance, and I didn't want to do it. And probably season one, it was kind of like counterproductive, not counterproductive, but it was kind of writing with my left hand. Like none of it was easy
Mm.
or pleasurable, but I never quit because I knew how valuable it was. And I found a lot of enjoyment sharing it with Tierra because if y'all haven't found out, like she's so charismatic, she's so articulate, she has a wealth of wisdom, and she's so down to earth and easy to talk to. So, she kept me going, and now I'm excited to show up just as much as she is. So that's my story. Am I missing anything?
No, that was it. I love it. No, it's so true. And the reason why I went and found mentorship is because I was like, I literally took the leap of faith. Like, I know I've shared this story before, but I was literally like, I cannot work at my job anymore. And I heard, like, something about notary. Notary just kept popping up. And I think that's like one of those things where, you feel like God is like talking to you, he's like tapping on you because he keeps kind of showing you the same thing in like subtle different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept getting introduced to notary through advertisement, through just women. It was two Black women talking in the nail salon on the day that I don't typically go, and I didn't make an appointment, just walked in and I got sat in between these two women. So,
Wow.
is it crazy that they was just talking over top of my head like that? Yes. But I was, when I say sponge, like soaking in all of this knowledge. And this woman thought that she was just only helping this one Black woman next to her, but she was really helping both of us. And
Wow.
I do not know her name. I did introduce myself, but if I ever see that woman again, God help me recognize her because I want to say thank you. And she ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna know who I am or what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know the impact that you have with the information that you share.
That's right.
So that's one thing about this podcast that, I felt was super important. The information that me and Corinne shared, the just drive and motivation that we individually had, and how we kind of just vibed off and revved up and poured into each other. It's like, this needs to be shared. Like, this needs to be shared. So shout out to Womenomics Podcast.
Absolutely.
I will always shameless plug us. I don't care. This is our platform. This is why we did this. And one thing that Dave from Hivevine has really installed in me is like, nobody can kick you out your own event.
That's right.
Period. So I can say whatever I want on our own podcast.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I agree.
Yes, but the biggest thing for me is that, like I said, I wanted to leave my job so bad, and I just kept getting introduced to notary. So when I did do my own individual research, the first person that I came across was Sophia, and I just loved her YouTube content. I love how intelligent she was. I of course love that she was like a Black woman. I love her age range, because it was very close to mine. Actually, I think she's younger than me. So it was just the idea of learning from someone who was younger than me, who was further than me, who looked like me, who spoke in a way that I understand, and like inspire me at the same time. And so when I saw that she had a mentorship group, I'm like, why wouldn't I join? And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people really underestimate the value of mentorship when you're starting off somewhere in any industry, because of exactly what I said. It's someone who is further along than you. It is someone who is willing to pour into you and give you that information that you need. And then this is like a moment to like really get insight information on like your specific business from
Mm-hmm.
your specific state. And that's something that like a YouTube video can't necessarily do. Yes, it can give you good general information that can be used, but like to get something very specific for you and your business, like you have to find a coach or a mentor to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that's really, why I joined and why I was there. She absolutely saw something in me that I did not see in myself, because when she asked me to teach, I was like, who, me?
Girl, you was on point. You seemed like you was running the program. That's why I felt scammed. I'm like, who is she? You did great. You did an amazing job.
And thank you. But like, she really like she made me have to believe in myself that I can teach other people. And like you saying, like teach other people who is coming to see her and her level of knowledge where I didn't feel like I was at yet. And
Yeah.
I think like that's when that whole imposter syndrome, really comes into play. And I think also that's an opportunity for you to realize that like when you learn the skills, it's all about how you communicate the skills.
That's
So it could have been something very simple as she knew that I knew the skills because of the way I communicated them.
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Like I guess I never really asked. Did you ever ask? Like, why, like, not why me, but
No,
like got
I
choked by the
kind
Pope,
of,
but
I mean, see, here's the thing. Like deep down inside, I know my stuff,
right.
and
I
I
know
know
that's
I
right.
have the potential. If I don't know it yet, I know I have the potential to learn it. Really, what makes me hesitate often is just self confidence and, comparing myself. So
Yeah.
I don't think I know enough about something. It's not necessarily factual. It's about I don't know enough compared to whatever standard I've created in my head that suggests that that's what know enough looks like. So I've
Mm,
learned that I didn't always believe that, have that kind of self-awareness, but I have learned now that if someone says teach on a particular subject that I do every day, how can I not teach on that? Come on.
right.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to know everything. And I know I am very good at seeking and gaining information. So that's not a limitation. It really comes down to me, levels of unworthiness or levels of self confidence that creeps up. And then I mask it with, oh, I don't know enough yet. And it's a lie. So that's
I
my
know
reason.
that's right. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I think I felt that way initially too when we like talked about it. And then she was like, yeah, like, and Sophia's just so cool, right? She's just so
Hmm.
cool. She's like, just do what you're comfortable with. And like, we'll just break it down like this. And she's very much like, you tell me what you want to do and then we'll see if it works. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then you send her your PowerPoint and she's like, this is great. Like, this is more detailed information than I would have did. And you're just like, all right, like wipe the sweat off, right?
Right, right.
So, but that's one thing that I loved about going into a mentorship program as an entrepreneur is because you go into entrepreneurship thinking, oh, I'm the head of my business. I don't have to, take anything from anyone. A lot of times we leave and we go into entrepreneurship kind of spitefully, right? Like,
Right.
ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do, or I get to make my own schedule, or I get to blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
And you are the CEO, right? You are the head, the top, but it's very humbling to
Hmm.
go into a mentorship program or a coaching program at the top, knowing that you still have so much to learn
For sure. For
and then
sure.
being coachable on top of that.
I think it's an art to being a mentee. We focus so much
Mm,
on the expectations of a mentor, and people tend to, especially if you exchange money for it, you have all these
right.
requirements of what they should do and what they should give, and you could be very critical of them. But in order to get the most out of them, I would think you would have to be a certain type of mentee, because we're dealing with humans here.
Yep.
It's just people. So I think that in addition to Sophia being an amazing mentor, I'm sure she's mentored many people, even if it's like unofficially, if they're watching her YouTube videos. If you're the type of student that is looking for just a blueprint without needing to implement anything, you just want all the answers, then you may not get the most out of it,
Right.
because a mentor can show you a lot of things and guide you, but you have to start taking action and doing things, because as you explore and grow and mess up and win, you're going to be learning it your way and developing skills that you possess. And so it requires that you have a certain level of open-mindedness and willingness to take action, and I think that feeds the mentor the motivation to continue to feed you information. So it's
Yeah.
a collaborative thing, it's a partnership, and it's not just you purchase a service and that mentor is supposed to just deliver. It's not the same. It doesn't work like that, in my
No,
opinion.
no, you're absolutely right. And you do have to be coachable. And coachable looks like listening and being able to take constructive criticism. It looks like being accountable and wanting to fix or improve whatever it is that needs that, and actually executing and doing whatever it is that you guys are, talking about. And I think being on both ends of the coin, you get to see, right? So I don't know, like for me, when Sophia dissolved her program, at that time, like I knew that real estate, wasn't for me, right? I knew that being a loan signing agent, like wasn't for me. It wasn't the bee's knees that I thought it was, or that it was all cracked up to be for me, right? Don't get me wrong, like Sophia's killing it. Now she's a landlord, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
she's taking it and went a whole different, route with it. And so if loan signings is like your jam, then you can see all the possibilities just through her and what she's doing. But what she made me see through the mentorship program is that wasn't for me. That niche was not my niche.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
sometimes that, mentorship programs help you recognize that too. You might have thought that something was in your wheelhouse that you would have all this passion for, but it really recognized or exposed for me is like, oh, I thought this was like the fast track money way. Like, you know what I mean? Like I thought that it was just gonna be like money, 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 and I was gonna enjoy it and blah 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 blah. And it's like you gotta do a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta
Right.
do something anyway for whenever you get an exchange, for money or whenever you have a transactional exchange. But for what you was doing, I just didn't like it. I was like, there has to be another way.
But you know what, Tiara? The benefits, like you turned something that many people would say was negative into something positive, and you didn't criticize the mentor. So
Right.
some people may find that a particular industry or whatever is not for them, and they will say, I didn't like the way that the mentor taught it, or I felt like the mentor didn't give us enough information to make the fast money, and that might not be true. It just
Nah.
be it may be the fact that you've discovered that this is not the lane for you. And if that is the case, that's what you gained from it.
Yep.
That's what you gain from it. So it's all about perspective too.
And I think the way that you can recognize that it's not the lane for you is you don't want to do the work. Like, you know what I mean? Like let's just, open up the whole book. Let's go to chapter 11. Like
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
don't when you're struggling to do the work, to do the task, the money making task that your mentor is giving you, then maybe it's the industry that you don't like. Maybe it's just that particular, role within the industry that you don't like. And you have to recognize that too, because when it comes to, and it's funny because Rafael talks about this as well. It's like when it comes to like those cold calling or, certain ways that you have to do stuff, a lot of people don't want to do that, right? But that might be
Right.
necessary in this moment, in the beginning stages of your business, or if you want to expand, or if you want to develop a corporate clientele and relationships like that. That's a part of it, right? And so if
Right.
I'm your mentor and I'm telling you to do these things because this is where you want to go, or the direction that say you want to be, or your desired goal, and you don't want to do those things, then maybe like this isn't for you. And that's what I had to recognize, that this wasn't for me. I don't want to go to really title companies and all the other stuff, pleading my case, buying gifts, and all that other stuff. I don't want to have to be running over to FedEx or UPS. I don't want to have to scan all these documents in after I got the 45 degree, what is it called? With the 90 degree with the questioning from the signer. Like, I don't want to do none of that. I don't. And so it really helped me navigate. I don't want to get paid in 30 days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
don't I
Yeah.
don't want to do none of that.
Yeah. You know what's not for you,
No.
that's for sure.
It's a no for me.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yes, that's absolutely a no for me. But being in that experience and seeing what it takes to be successful at it, because that's what learning under Sophia was like. Seeing what it
Yeah.
takes to be successful at it made me realize I don't want to do those things.
Yeah. No, that's good. And that's clarity. And with clarity helps you, what it ends up doing is not just being a negative thing and you're disappointed, but it helps guide you through process be doing. So that's good. If you didn't know that, if you found out that that wasn't working for you, then now that's why you're wedding efficient today, because you were very clear that that doesn't work for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So, and recognizing that it didn't, it gave me the opportunity to learn about different niches within the notary industry. And as everybody knows, I did my first wedding on 2/22/22, and it's been up, ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in recognizing that like this aligns with my personality, I like the way that the pay is set up, and this allows me to build the business that I want around my life. This is the way I want to go down, but I still need mentorship.
That's right. Always.
I still need to learn. Yes, I still need to learn. And so now that I found my niche, now it's about finding a great mentorship program within my niche. And I mean, God held me down for that one because I got chosen for an amazing opportunity with the
Mm.
number one wedding directory, website company in the world. And I'm learning from mentors and from teachers and industry professionals. I'm getting my advertisement paid for on their platform, as well as getting like education and like live Q&A with our mentors. So this is an unbeatable experience. I'm learning so much, but it's like as soon as I found my niche, it seems like all of these opportunities started to open up within my niche.
Wow.
Did that happen to you? Because as we can see, we're both not doing the loan signing agent. You know what I mean? That's not our primary
Right.
anymore. We see that.
Right. I
So
think
did you experience that too once you found your niche?
yeah, once I found my niche and I doubled down on it versus trying to like do 100 different things and, popping around to wherever the money's at, you're not really going beneath the surface, not really studying the process of that particular niche. And so when I doubled down and focused all my energy on one service that I was convinced that it was for me, and I fell in love with the actual work, I fell in love with the customer base and studied it nonstop. That's when opportunities began to present itself from more knowledge, mentorship. I'm starting to meet other business owners that do what I do, and then the customers are coming in. I get repeat clients, and I really credit it to focusing on one thing and not spreading, not for it's focusing on one thing and also doing what I prefer to do. Because I could have still been in loan signings and just focusing on that, but hate it. So you're not even like
Mm-hmm.
open to new opportunities. You're kind of repulsed by it. So how
Yep.
can you be a magnet for success when you dread the phone calls or you dread the loan signings, you dread getting paid 30, 90 days, whenever? It just wasn't for me either. And for those who are still in loan signings and are very successful, you know who you are. I applaud you for you knowing that that works for you, and you still kind of riding the waves of the market fluctuating, because those people are still thriving. They're still getting business because people are still buying and selling homes, and it works for them because they weren't just on the trend. And so you got to also know when it's time to like jump ship onto another ship, and find out, not into the ocean and drown, but you know what I mean. So, so for me, I knew loan signings it was about the money. And when that faded and I realized the level of work it requires, I knew that wasn't sustainable for me as a mother, for me who is very cerebral. I like to sit and be analytical and come up with solutions for customers versus just kind of mechanically doing a particular task. It just didn't fit for me. It didn't work. So I knew as soon as the money changed, so did my motivation. Yeah, that's not for me. So when I started to focus on what I actually like to do, I'm doing it when I'm working all the time and it doesn't feel like work. And I know that sounds so cliche, but it doesn't feel like I'm working. I just enjoy it. And then I felt like a mentor came into my life to in that particular niche, doing exactly what I want to do, and has gave me a wealth of information that has helped my business thrive. We gotta make a part two for this
No,
because
I was thinking that too because we haven't even gotten into what our actual like mentorship programs are, you know, why we got into them and like what that impact has done for our business.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we're gonna make this into a two-part. So, of course, stay tuned for part two next week.
Yes.
Um but yeah, no, just to really wrap up this episode, what what did you look for? I'm gonna end it with a question.
Mhm.
What did you look for when you decided to like switch your niche? Like you knew that you didn't want to do loan signings anymore because of all the things that you experienced. but what did you look for when decided to double down into where you at now? And of course, people know, but I don't think you've said it yet. So where are you at now as well? What's your niche now?
So I still run a notary business, but my focus is apostles. So I offer apostle services to clients who are looking to do business or any type of important transaction in another country. I help them get the necessary authentications for their documents so that those documents can be used in another country, like vital records, power of attorneys, real estate documents. And so I provide a conveyance to the clients so that they don't have to navigate the complex government requirements of their particular state. I handle all of that. I offer a full service business from translations, courier services, government processing. I do it all. And I love it because what attracted me to the industry is that it's more in line with my natural way of thinking, operating, and my lifestyle. And so I'm an analytical person. I have a business background. I did analytical work in the government for many years and private sector. And so I like to come up with processes and problem solve and mitigate risk and things like that. I was also an internal auditor. So all of that brain stuff is this my natural way of working. And so this business is not just taking documents from A to B on behalf of someone. I'm actually figuring out their problems. Every customer I call has a unique scenario, a unique problem, and they need it done yesterday. They're coming all over the world, going to places all over the world. They have documents I've never seen before, and what they need to do is get their document authenticated for said country in this amount of time, but they got all these other problems. And I have to quickly navigate what their issue is, figure it out by merely seeking that information and providing them with convenient services. So at first it was intimidating because I thought that there was like a rule book. You do this, you do this, you do this. Then I realized, no, it's about how you think to do this, and that. And so a mentor is what helped me get there. So once I decided on the type of work that I wanted to do, because this work is also very flexible. So it has a higher price point. So I don't have to work 40 hours a week or do, um, you know, 60 loan signing appointments a month to really feel like I'm putting a dent in my revenue. I can do a fraction of that and still make the same kind of money, but I also have to attract a certain class of clients that will pay for conveyance. So I like the fact that I have two children, I have access to them, I have flexibility. Like I went to the beach with my family yesterday. My phone was ringing. That was stressful, but I could still close orders when I'm out. And I can dictate my process because the business is mine and I customize it for my clients. That is what I need in the season of my life. And I'm able to use my mind, on a different level to navigate, processes. And then also I have constant opportunities to innovate the business and create new services for the clients because they have a boatload of problems. So I just love this industry because it's not just black and white. There's so many layers to it. And I'm seeing more and more as I learn, there are more solutions that I can offer people, which then increases my value in the marketplace. And that alone is very exciting.
Yes. Okay. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Um, yeah, I would say for me as well, kind of what made me go into where I'm at now was I came from like a healthcare based job before. All of my degrees, my undergrad and my grad degrees within healthcare. I've always worked within healthcare and I always studied healthcare. So I've always been in the space of like wellness, getting somebody back to wellness, but in a more traumatic part of their life, right? So I worked on the cancer floor, hematology, oncology floor. I used to work in outpatient. I was a case manager for a program that did reentry and drug treatment services. So I've always been on the more traumatic side of people's lives
Mm.
and providing that wellness type of care. Where now, on the flip side, with weddings, I'm in the most joyous, celebratory part of someone's life, yet still providing that type of wellness and care and the form of providing education, So helping them navigate how to get their marriage license, what they want for a wedding ceremony, all of those kind of things, just them asking questions and me being able to provide answers and clarity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way too. I'm always checking in on their well-being. We're always smiling, laughing, happy. So, I know that whatever time they spend with me, they're going to leave better than how they came. Super important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, lastly, just the actual energy that I get to expel around them at their wedding. Again, celebratory part of their life. They're getting married to their favorite person. All of their friends are here to celebrate them. They're excited for this really good night that they want to remember forever. And, it's all like happy, happy, happy. And the one thing that I've been learning about just this industry as a whole is like, when couples like book you, especially as an officiant, they're booking you for you. They're booking you for your look. They're booking you for your personality. They're booking you for your writing style. They're booking you for your voice and the way that you speak. Like, it's all about you. So every time that I pour into myself, every time that I refine myself, every time that I allow myself to be creative, it does nothing but add value to my business. Anytime I invest in myself adds value to my business because my business is about me.
Mm. It's the alignment for me.
Okay.
For real.
That is literally so true. So kind of like you, it's just like I get to be creative. I get to have a problem that, my couples have that now I can, have a solution for. And the solution is tapping into my creativity, tapping into my ultimate purpose, which is to bring wellness and honestly tapping into like my whole foundation of my business, my
Mm-hmm.
whole whatever model, mantra, my vision, my values, that type of thing, which is helping couples tie the knot with ease and joy. It don't get no better than that. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime I can fulfill my mission statement for
Mm-hmm.
my business, it makes me feel good as a business owner. But anytime that a couple is truly impacted or, by my presence at their wedding and they just met me max 3 months ago,
Mm.
that like you can't buy that.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Wow. And if you do buy it, it should be for a real good price, right?
You're right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is a fact. But this has been such a great episode. I just love how, mentorship has helped direct our path so, so, so much, from recognizing what's not a good fit to recognizing what is a greater fit, to recognizing ways that, we invest in ourselves, to recognizing ways that those investments pour out into our business, and all, of course, the transactional benefits we have from just this whole experience. But we definitely have to get into a part two of this episode. So if you want to hear part two, make sure you tune in next week on Womenomics Wednesday. And of course, always drop your comments about this episode. What was your biggest takeaway? What has been your experience with mentorship? Are you also in Sophia's program? Because hey, it's the alum club.
Exactly. Love it.
Yes, but thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Peace, y'all.